So it's time for a change. I've been rocking the Corsair 4000D, the airflow version of it. I actually had the non-airflow and then I went with that one, and that's actually been a real cool case. I like it. Just wasn't a fan of that whole grill aesthetic over here, if you could see it. But still a great case, easy to build in, and I enjoyed it. But lately I like Be Quiet. I love using their fans, I love using their coolers. In fact, I have a 360 AIO I'm doing with the build over here, and this is a pretty good cooler. Just love their fans, this Dark Rock Pro 4. So yeah, I like Be Quiet, and I decided, you know what, let's go to Be Quiet case. So this is the Purebase 500 DX. This is the black version. It does come in a white version. So in this video, we'll just go ahead, we'll talk about dimensions, build quality, specs, what can you do with it, and how much computer can we cram into it, and just put a nice build in here, and well, my personal build in here, and see how well this case is. So now Be Quiet is known for its name, just quiet and silenced. Typically airflow is hit or miss with these, primarily because they're more sealed up to get rid of all that noise from fans and everything on this one. But what I liked about this one is, I mean, you got the whole airflow in the front. I kind of like the mesh look on it, and yeah, that will fit the build. Plus we got some mesh action up here that comes off, fits the build nicely. USB 3.0 and 3.1, got that whole type C thing, which is pretty nice over there. Nice clicky power button, headphone, microphone, which I like. I don't like that whole splitter thing that they got going on over there. I'm not a fan of it. And this button right over here, you would think it's the reset, but it's actually for the whole little RGB action, and we'll take a look at that later. But yeah, you can actually customize that with their famous orange and put it to white, which we'll probably go with white on that one. Got a glass front panel and a solid back. So let's go ahead, let's open this up and let's see what it looks like inside. Thumb capture screws in the back. And what I kind of like about it is you have the whole sound dampening material, if you can see it right over here, which does actually make a pretty big difference as far as sound. Now this comes with two fans. It comes with two 140s over here. I believe that's a 140. Yep. But the thing that kind of stinks about them is that they give you 3-pin, which, I mean, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, but it would just be nice if they just done 4-pin. These are the Pure Wings 2, which I do enjoy. All right, motherboard tray, nothing fancy. Breather for the basement over here, and a panel right over here, which I believe this is removable, so we could put a 360mm AIO. And instead of having grommage, you have this shroud over here, so the cables come out and they'll plug right in for your motherboard, SATA, and all that good jazz. And of course, proud of their name, Be Quiet, which I will say, at least it's not like a Corsair where they do the whole accents in yellow, which I'm not a fan of that. As far as the back, you got your straps right over here, our little accessory box, which will open it up, and this tray, which comes out right over here with some thumb capture screws, which we're going to be removing this. And this you can put in your 3/4 inch, 3.5 inch drives, 2 of them, which we're not going to be using because we'll be using this front right over here to put a 360mm radiator. Your SATAs will get mounted right over here, which you have a thumb capture screw right over here. That comes out. Mount 2 SATAs right over there. And I believe you can mount 2 SATAs right over here. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, cases are cases nowadays, unless you go with something like Singularity or InWin. You're pretty much going to get this. But I do like the look of it. It's a little sleeker compared to the 4000D, and I think it's going to look real nice in this build. Now for your fans, you have provisions for 240, 280, and as you can see right over here, depending on the size that you need, and it should give us enough clearance for our memory, which will be fine. And of course, you have your provision by removing this drive cage that we could put our 360mm AIO. So now the build that I'm going to do, which is going to be my personal rig, I'm going to go with a 360mm AIO. This is the Be Quiet Pure Loop. We'll put that over here, and my graphics cards, I actually converted it to the EVGA hybrid cooler, which is a 240mm AIO, which will go right over here. Might be tight, might work, but we'll find out. So let's do a little build on this, and let's see how this case works as far as cramming a lot of hardware into it. All right, so building in the Be Quiet case, it's all right. It's all right. I guess I got a little spoiled with the Corsair 4000D. Now, as far as temperatures and quiet, this thing has plenty of airflow. I mean, I can't really rate what the temperatures would be because every setup is different. You can use an air cooler, you can use an AIO and all that stuff, and just comparison apples to oranges, considering I was using an air cooler in the 4000D and now I'm using a 360 millimeter, but I can tell you there's plenty of airflow and this thing runs good. Now, with the dampeners that are on the panel, and there was even a dampener on the power supply over here, I got like no vibrations on that, which is something I never really thought about. Some type of vibrations you may get from the power supply and whatnot. It's a very quiet case, just like their name says. I kind of like the RGB in the front, as you get a lot of options on it, and it is addressable. So if you plug it in, you can use Armory Crate, MSI, whatever one you want to do, and just kind of configure it to the ecosystem. But these are the colors that you got, which is kind of nice. Let's see, I know we got the orange, and of course, there we go, rainbow puke for anybody that likes it. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works on there. As far as the back cable management, well, considering that I got some more work to do on this computer, it's okay. And here's some of the issues that I ran into, and we'll figure it out. As far as the power supply cable, this had a hard time just kind of tucking it in. And if you look, it comes out right through here. So you got your power supply that comes out right through here. And even if you tuck it in, it's just, there's really nowhere for it to go. The only thing I could think of is to kind of tack it up right over here, but even then, just the angle just to get it into the motherboard was quite tricky. Now, with this bar in the way, it really is tight to get this in, and if you look, I mean, it's a little tight, and the bar is actually pushing out a little bit, so I'm not a fan on that. And something to keep in mind when building in this case, if that bar pushes out, keep in mind of your GPU if it's touching. I'm not touching as my GPU is lower, but if you had a bigger GPU, like the For the Win 3s, the Strix models, you might run into an issue with it. As far as AIOs and mounting, plenty of room. I got an intake over here, and you can actually do a intake exhaust and put another set of fans over here. It's a little pricey, but you can do it. For this AIO right over here for my GPU, I went ahead and just mounted it on the top, and yeah, we got plenty of clearance for the memory. As you can see, plenty of clearance, so we don't have to worry about the memory or the memory height, and these G-Skills are pretty tall, so the DOM plats from Corsair should work pretty good. It does come with three 140 millimeters 3-pin fans, the Pure Wings 2. They work great, but I did swap everything out to 4 pins just so I could have better control for it. But overall, building the case, not too terrible. I like the look, I like the aesthetic, and then for the price, $100 I mean, honestly, it was easier to build in the 4000D, and that is only $80 compared to that one. So you have the trade-off in the fact that it has more provisions for sound dampening, but a little cheaper, something to consider. So hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see what we come up with next.